Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I have a video after the big update that I'm sure all you guys know about has dropped. There's a couple tanks that have changed pretty majorly. The Vickers Light and the Chieftain, namely, they took the premium AP high pen rounds, premium high pen, whatever you want to call them, from those tanks, and they replaced them with premium hash like the FV4202 and the 183. And not a lot of people have really been noticing, but the Vickers Light is actually insanely broken with this new change because you get reticle calibration and you get adrenaline, and you can snipe little weak spots like that shot there, and you have 350 alpha with a 5.4-second reload because I run calibrated. Players that are better than me that also have found out about the Vickers Light in this update have told me to run rammer because you need the DPM in a 1v1 in some cases, but personally, I'm doing better with calibrated shells just because it gives you an extra 14 millimeters of hash pen, and that makes a world of difference on a lot of heavy tanks. For example, this 215B there. So this tank, you get 259 millimeters of pen with AP and calibrated, 194 millimeters of pen with hash, and 86 with regular high explosive. So you are going to be doing a little bit more damage with regular high explosive, not enough for it to really matter, so I only run 8 of them. I run 20 AP, 20 hash, and 8 HE, just in case I get into that situation. Then I run reticle calibration and, what's it called? Adrenaline. And as you can see here, I'm just going to absolutely clown on this bat chat, because the bat chat isn't as good as it was in the last update. And a lot of people, like I said, don't know about this change yet or haven't paid huge attention to it. And this gives you so much DPM, you just deal with these tanks so quickly. You literally have like 4,000 DPM with this, and then you pop adrenaline, and it just goes absolutely through the roof. And when you need to face heavy tanks, whether or not you're shooting hash at them, when you run the reticle calibration, you can snipe little weak spots that you're not able to snipe without reticle calibration, and it kind of acts as its own premium shell as long as your aim is good. So it's not a bad thing that it doesn't have heat, and it makes you absolutely clown on every single light tank that you run into. Like, here's another example of a bat chat that's just getting handled by this thing, and it's not me. I know that there's accusations in the CS63 video so far that people are like, it's not the tank, it's you, but this is really not me. This tank has 196 millimeters of hash pen with 350 alpha and a 5.6-second reload. That is incredibly high DPM. When you put it to work, it really works. On top of that, I know we talk about camo net for our light tanks on this channel. Our camo net, when stationary, we get 69 camo, which is 4 less than the T100, and then 62 while moving. I'm not quite sure at this moment what the T100s is while moving, but both camo values are pretty damn close, and this thing absolutely demolishes a T100 in a 1v1. The T100 is 66 while moving, so it's really close, and the T100 just has no defense to this, because if you're running, say you're in a comp game and you know you're going to fight a light tank, we'll disregard whether or not that is the current meta and that might actually happen or not. Say you are in that situation where you know you're going to be fighting a light tank, it's a T100, and you're in a Vickers. You are running rammer because you don't need the extra penetration to fight lights, and you now reload faster and have higher alpha than him. So what is his advantage? This thing is a light tank killer. It is absolutely top of the food chain right now when it comes to lights. Mediums, it's pretty close up there. Mediums are still going to give you a lot of trouble, but if they don't know what they're fighting, it's going to be a huge problem for them. When it comes to heavies, you do struggle a little bit because you don't have a premium round, so if they're facing you and they want to kill you, they will get it done. But you can see in this example here, this Kronvan just looks a little bit over to the left, and his whole side of his turret I can pen with hash, even at that angle. How quickly we get these shots off is amazing. 3 shots in here in just a couple of seconds, and he is down to 483 HP. That is unprecedented for like pretty much any other tank. So if you guys want to do like a lot of damage really quickly, this is definitely the choice. So now that I've talked about the change that was made, like how good this tank is right now, this is the only full game that I really picked. I had a lot of different examples and clips, but not a lot of games that really like stood out to me to say I'm gonna commentate this whole thing. But for this one, I'm gonna go pretty aggressive at the beginning because I want to get some. I just want to get in and get doing damage. This thing changes the light tank game for me because I just want to farm the entire game. It's no longer like I have to be passive and scout and know when to run. This is like immediately create a crossfire, immediately start farming as quickly as you can and get the damage out, because the damage potential this vehicle has is just so high. Here we're gonna go back around to mid because I know this E50 is sitting here. Without the reticle calibration, we snipe that, and then this E5 is going to be looking at us a little bit, but the way he's going to peek is going to allow us to get a shot off, and we're going to take that all day. Now, this Yag is moving up, and the last thing I want is the Yag to move up, turn right, and start facing me. So we're going to back away towards the corner so that if he decides to face me, I can just move out of the way. But I still want to have shots on him because the side of a Yag, for anyone that has played a vehicle with Hesh, that's just the perfect shot right there. So we're going to sit here and try to farm him as much as we can. Unfortunately, he turns and we have to switch to AP. But even when you're shooting AP, I mean, you're still doing damage. It's not that huge of a deal. Now that he is facing us, though, the lack of the premium shell with high penetration, we're just not going to engage that. Like, it's not something that's going to end well for us. We're not going to be able to pen him unless we aim for weak spots. And we're better off just finding another target. Unfortunately, this bad chat just decided that he was going to be up here. So we found him, pressure him out, and before he can run away, we've already landed 2 Hesh shells and then a finisher on him, and he's done. So I made a little bit of a mistake here by not just immediately turning for this Yagi 100, but we make up for it because we land this little shot here. Unfortunately, he absolutely snipes us, and he low rolls though, so it's okay. I try a Hesh shot there on the cupola, but the shell velocity I'm not quite used to yet in this game, so I hit the back of the cupola and it didn't do any damage. Now that these 2 guys are underneath me, I'm just going to start farming this 183 because he's completely side on to me. Free shots, he's got like 4 tanks in front of him. If he does turn for me, I can just hide and then he'll die to my team. I still have no idea how that shot didn't pen. You can literally see the impact right on the side of his turret there. Pretty unfortunate. Made us miss out on some damage, but at the end of the day, we get the next few shots in, and he doesn't actually end up hitting us here. So we get a pretty sneaky shot in there, another one there, and he's on 4 HP, so we're just going to leave that to everybody else. Now we need to focus on these guys that are down low from before. Remember, we left these guys behind. Now that everybody else is cleaned up, we're going to move on to these guys. They didn't have time to get out of this low position. They were pretty irrelevant for the rest of the game just because they couldn't get out of that low position, basically. So now they're left for last, and we move in and get some free shots into them. Right here, I'm praying that the E100 bounces, and he does, so we get an extra 1 more shot there, and then we actually get the kill on this E5. Pretty easy. So not even really a close game. We dominated the middle of the map in a light tank, managed to pull out almost 5,100 damage. This tank is just incredible right now. As long as you don't put it into situations where it can't win, if you're trying to face hug stuff, one-on-one stuff at close range, you're not going to do well because you don't have penetration anymore. There's nothing you can do if something decides to face hug you. And also the E50M being meta right now, if you try to go up against an E50M alone, you're going to get absolutely handled. So you have to be careful for a couple things. But in most situations, you're going to see stuff like this, like, oh, there's a tier 9 medium, 2 easy shots in there. He's already almost half HP. The DPM is just absolutely incredible, and I'm just going to keep highlighting that because it can't be said enough. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little overview of the new Vickers Lite. This thing was pretty irrelevant up until this moment. Now it's pretty relevant, so if you haven't touched it in a while, give it a try. It's really an awesome tank. The only thing is the driver gets hit pretty constantly, as you're watching in this clip. I get my driver hit again on his last shot, I think. Yeah, right there. So my driver is now gone, and you're incredibly slow without the driver, as you saw from the E100 clip earlier. But no tank is without its own drawbacks, so we'll leave it at that. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I have a couple more videos lined up. So I got the E50M coming, I have an E100 video. I know a lot of you guys like to watch heavy tanks, and I don't have a lot of heavy tank content, so I might switch that order of those two. I might put the E100 out first. And then I have the Foch. Somebody requested the Foch, so stay tuned. Hope you guys enjoyed, and have a great rest of your day.